All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Got time to film a little video today, and maybe tomorrow, a couple days, a little bit processed. But anyway, one of our good friends reached out to us, running our clutch kit. Been having some problems, not problems, just you know, going from reverse to low, hard shifting. Gave him some things to look for, and it all seemed good. And so he just said, I'll bring it down to you guys. So what I found out was just clutch needed rebuilt, you know, buttons, sliders, glides, and whatever you want to call them. So we got that taken care of, and that led into some talking about power add-ons and things, or not power add-ons, but he's running a stage 4 100 octane tune. And was curious about the JAZtuning, what we could do for it. One thing led to another, and things escalated quickly. So Amber's pulling in the rig now, and we'll get started on telling you what we're doing. So come on.
Free. Isn't that right? Everything you find by the road's free?
Yep.
I thought so.
So we've had this here for a week or two, trying to figure out which direction we wanted to go, and it was just amazing. All the customers came in, they're like, oh my god, is that Billy Cam's razor? And I'm like, yes it is. So yeah, so his secondary sliders and buttons were the worst. They were worn down, causing him all sorts of issues. The primary bearing had actually come apart, blew all the seals out of it. And so while we were in there,
Sprinkles decided he needed that beautiful piece.
as his cover plate bushing was a little wiggly, so Sprinkles had to hook up her friend with some bling, which we'll test that sometime to see if it actually does pull more airflow than your stock cover,
because there's only one way to find out.
Yep. So yeah, so that's a Bikeman clutch cover. When we can get you Bikeman products, we got the Bikeman clutch kit rebuild, new bearing in it. And so we were talking with Billy, and got looking up, you know, the boost numbers of his stage 4 100 octane tune. What's surprising is they're actually less boost than what I'm running on my razor, and gonna be her razor, Sprinkles, than a 93 octane tune. And it's just curious that that's a stage 4, produces 18 pounds of boost or whatever it is, and yeah, the Jazz is 93 octane, producing 18.5 to 19 pounds, just depending on the setup and how much you want to push. So, you know, just another way right there, where that's why we partnered up with Jazz, because it's great. So we're talking about just seeing what a 93 octane JAZtune would do on old Betsy. And then that led into big turbo
For Sprinkles.
talk.
No.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
Billy bought one for Sprinkles.
Yeah. So yeah. So we just went with the Bikeman Lil Mo, not the big Mo, just because you don't have to upgrade your fueling system and go totally all in. So this is, you know, the Pro XP Turbo R sized turbo, and doesn't necessarily mean we're going to bolt that puppy on and you're automatically going to see 25 pounds of boost. It's not really how it works. If we set that big turbo at the same boost that this OEM turbo is, it's going to be same pressure, say 18.5 pounds.
Well, we had somebody stop in and say they put a bigger turbo on their machine and it felt more sluggish, but that's because they didn't do any tuning or changes. Just thought bolt-on would fix it all.
The boost doesn't have to increase because your bigger turbo is increasing the volume of air. You need the tuning to dial all that in. So, I mean, in my amateur professional opinion, we got the best tuning with Jazz, so we're gonna throw that on here. And we're doing head studs and big turbo. It's got the water cooling kit. So that turbo will be water cooled now, is where this one is not.
I can't wait to see it.
So yeah, that's what's going on. What's in the box?
Stuff for me, it's Christmas. Just kidding. It must be for airplanes.
It's got an airplane on it.
Jets. So that means it's good.
Yep.
Oh, look, and drag cars and stuff. Those are really good.
So yeah, ARP head studs. That is the water cooling kit. Get water up to the turbo. I had some stock other stuff.
I was like, that's not for the turbo.
So yeah, so that's what all we replaced in his clutches. Those are your secondary buttons. They're actually wore down almost 1/8 of an inch. So that tells you why his clutching was a little sluggish feeling. We got the oil drain. Get there. Don't lose that little O-ring in there. Show us Lil Mo. So there's the Little Mo. Pro XP Turbo R sized Turbski. This is what's going to be going in there.
Oh, isn't it pretty?
Yeah. She's thinking in her head, why isn't this going on sprinkles?
What turbo? I didn't see nothing. She don't get nothing till she takes baths. She's being nasty.
She's a dirty girl. So anyway, we're gonna get going on this. This is gonna be a real how-to. We are just gonna get into it, show you the important pieces, anything interesting we find along the way.
Try to record the gains, changes.
Yeah, we're gonna do a draggy run the way it is now, and just see what our times are. Speed times are looking at that, and those are just 2-wheel drive pulls, you know, up and down our closed drag strip out in front of the house. So yeah, so we'll get into it. You know, we're gonna have to set the engine at the top dead center, take all this stuff off, and take the bed out to get us some room in there. Probably take the air filter out, air box out to get us some new room. But yeah, he's already got all the charge tubes and stuff in there, so we're good there. And yeah, so let's say we get at it and see
what we see.
See what we see. Update, where are we at? What are we doing?
Disassembling.
About ready got to come out. I'm just letting some trick shots soak into the rusted bolts. The skinny pedal kit, bed delete kit was nice to be able to take out and have all that room in there for activities, for big turbo activities.
Came out pretty quick.
It's out. Trick shot for the win On the manifold bolts, we had one right in there that did not want to come out. Trick shot's good stuff, better than use that on the Heims. Seized bolts, it does great, better than anything we've ever used before, but we got them out. Old, new. So you can tell, if you can, I don't know if you can see in there. Where's the light at? So this is the old one.
It's kind of a rectangle shape.
Kind of rectangle shaped in there.
And that one's a lot more round.
Definitely see some size difference in there. Push some more wind. These also opening diameters there. That's a little bigger. And this is a little bigger opening. It's all about the air. Engine's just an air pump. So similar, you can see there too, that's kind of flat. That's where there's more room up here. So a little bit bigger turbo, and water line goes here, oil line goes there, water line goes there. And then that one is the oil drain. This one does not have it. It's up in there. You just got to bolt on the little oil drain kit to get your hose on. And there we go. So yeah, what do you think of it so far on a difficulty scale?
Not too bad.
Like 4, 5, depending on how much you got to fight them. So nothing fancy to it, just removing
Just
a whole bunch of stuff to get to it.
Stuff. That's all. And praying you don't strip anything out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it's it looks good when we got those circuit in trick shot. Luckily the Trinity exhaust comes off in pieces, so we didn't have to fight getting those bolts you know, out of the machine with the turbo in the machine in the way. It was,
I think it gets in the way of mine. I'm just cutting it.
no you're not, because I need your turbos. Because my turbo,
No, I mean cutting my exhaust.
oh well, I was thinking if
Exhaust-ish.
you wouldn't worry about cutting that off either, I don't think. But you know, my turbo's gotten a leaky oil seal, smells like oil. Oh, I look like you running around the shop all dirty.
Might be a shadow. I don't see
Might be a
anything.
shadow. I don't know. Yeah, but you know, I get hand me ups. I'll be getting her stock turbo, and you know, she's gonna wind up with something like that. Or if we do sparkles may end
Hey,
up.
don't be giving out secrets.
Okay. So that's it. We're gonna bust those loose. We'll get it in there, and we will show you what lines go where, and then how to, you know, plumb in into the cooling system. So that's about it. It's been pretty simple. Just always, you know, we checked the fins and the wheels and all that. Everything's nice and tight. So yeah, it's been a talk video. Sorry about that, but it's just taking stuff off the razor.
Nothing too exciting.
Nothing too exciting. Haven't ran into any problems or anything special that you'd need to know to get in there if you were doing it yourself. So
The excitement will come later.
yeah, and the excitement will come later. We'll get this in there. We'll show the head studs, and then the tuning process, because yeah, Jazz isn't so much, you know, call him up, say, hey, I want to tune for this, because he's gonna send you a tune, and then he's gonna want you to do a couple data log runs. So maybe we should.
And then a couple more, maybe.
Maybe.
A couple more.
And he
He loves to get it absolutely perfect.
Yeah, which is good because your fueling's good. And we'll describe more about that. We might break that into a different video itself too. So showing the use of the wideband and all that. So yep, we're gonna get back at it. Get this bolted back in. Hopefully I'll hook back up today. And then we'll be on the head studs.
I wonder if we'll have to adjust the wastegate.
Jazz will tell us whatever we need to know. So
this is the wastegate you're looking for.
This, yeah. So we'll be back. Update.
It's in. Well, the turbo.
So we got it in there. And really it's pretty much straightforward. The only questions we had were the water lines. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's basically, like we've said, in and out, it's went really, really smooth. Not much level of difficulty there other than the old bolts and studs on the manifold. Those are always fun. So when you go to big turbo, you'll definitely have to have some sort of silicone tube, charge tube, to squeeze on the bigger inlet. And you know, your oil line goes up there, oil drains behind there, you can't see it. So the questions we had was just, you know, how to feed this. We want to make sure we did it right. And so you come, I don't want you to be able to see it. You come out of the right side, out of your oil cooler. That line goes up in behind the brace bracket there and goes in there. That was kind of a headache. We couldn't get the OEM bolt back in there because it was too big. It was hitting that elbow, so we had to, you know, custom make a bolt.
And you had to have the smallest fingers in the shop.
Oh yes. Yes, get the person with baby hands to help you. That bolt went in just fine. That is a tight fit in there. There's slots in this bracket where those bolts go through. We did have to kind of grind, waller out, more technical term, the openings, just so we weren't hitting that hard line and, you know, the clamp onto the hose. So a little clearancing there. And so just for curiosity, we're looking at instructions on the water line, and really couldn't find much of anything. Although we did notice there's another company out there selling big turbos. Did tell you to, their directions tell you to plumb it backwards. They say the inlet is on top of the turbo, not the side. Bikeman says it's on the side.
Do you think
exit
they
out the
say
top.
that just because you would think it went in the top? Do you think they know, or they're choosing to run it backwards?
I don't know. But to settle the debate, we got a hold of our good friend Jason with Jazz, because he's going to be tuned in this thing. He's dealt with all sorts of turbos in the automotive world. And just his immediate was, no, you feed a turbo from the side, it exits the top. Something to do with the science behind it, of after you even shut it off, there'll be like a siphoning effect of the coolant, so it is slowly getting coolant out of your turbo, so it's still got some cooling effects after that. And to back up his theory, we went and looked at a Pro XP. We've got, since it's the same size water cooled cooler turbo, so up in there is that fitting there ish. That's the top line of the turbo, and it goes straight over here to the reservoir. So Polaris has got it set up like that, and then, you know, the side feed from the cooler down on there. So Polaris has got it set up that way. Bikeman says set up that way. Jazz says set it up that way because of the science of how it works. So that's the way we did it. Not the other way that possibly could be the wrong way. I don't know that it matters. Not claiming to be
turbo experts.
we just know how to put it on there and let the experts do their thing of how to do it. So that was interesting. So this is not the feed line according to everybody but that one place. So that feed line gets a splice, that longer line goes down to the back side,
if they can see it,
the back side of the water pump,
right in there.
So that's the way it be. And that was, you know, big hands, little hands, had to get into all the spots that they could get in to pull the old line off. You actually, you know, you replace this line here and loop the turbo into it. So
we got it primed.
Yep. Then
we reassembled everything, I guess.
Yeah, reassembled everything, got everything hooked up. You know, if you've ever seen your turbo, that's just covered with, that's got a heat shield. Then there's another heat shield over here. That is your bleed valve for your coolant, because we did lose a splash of coolant when we had the lines off. It didn't pour out of there. So we want to be sure we check that we don't have any air bubbles trapped in there. And then of course we're getting fired up here, check for leaks on all of our water lines we put in, oil line. And so yeah, so we pulled the plug wires, we pulled the fuel pump relay and just cranked over the engine a few times, 10, 15, 20 seconds, just to pump some oil all the way up in here to that so it doesn't get started dry. So yeah, so we got the old jack the front end up, get all that above down here, and I think we're just gonna give it a fire up just to check for leaks before we put the two heat shields back on, and then we'll get into the swapping out the head studs. So I guess as we fire it up for the first time, see if everything works as it should. So far so good, we're keyed on. So it's alive. We're just going to check for leaks, make sure the engine temperature doesn't go crazy, and then we'll set it down, let it cool off, get to the head studs. You know, smoke and stuff is going to be normal on new parts. So I'm going to put this down and keep an eye on things, and we'll catch up in a minute. Hey babe, I think we were talking about this earlier.
You didn't
in a point of the video, but
the fried chicken.
The fried chicken, there's a wonderful smell of French fries being made right here, and we forgot to clean out the
trick shot.
The trick shot from getting the manifold bolts out.
There's some fries in the freezer we could throw on there.
Yeah. So we're gonna clean up the trick shot, and then we'll do this again with a lot less smoke. So all right, it's the fun time. It's the head stud swap time. So figure we will show you how to do this, just in case y'all want to do it yourself. It's not difficult, just just be careful, because you got your motor open, engine. So anyway, we'll save that surprise for a minute.
I don't have any surprises.
So anyway, anytime you're doing anything like this, swapping cams, swapping studs, anytime you're up here, taking your engine apart, maybe not all the way apart, maybe just whatever you're doing, get your engine in time. So best way to do that is, one, you'll see the lobes there. These driver side lobes are kind of up and out pointing. That allows the cams have some slots in there. Just slide a little piece of something that'll fit in there to keep them from twisting, because that one lobe, those two lobes there, do have some pressure on them. So to get it to this point, take your clutch cover off, get your assistant here.
This is what I do. I just ever so lightly
Just
get and go towards the front of the machine.
top of the clutch
This.
towards the front of the machine, counterclockwise.
Don't go.
Yeah. So while you're probably not gonna be able to see it, so what you look for is take your crank sensor out here, and I'll let you peek down into the flywheel. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little plus. Turbo engines are the plus, 1000 engines, non-turbo, are a straight mark. So while you're watching that come around, you go ahead and have your valve cover off, so you can see there's I and I, E and E, and those line up straight across with the top of the head.
And obviously the I and E is intake and exhaust. In
Yeah.
case you didn't know.
So it is possible for your cams to look like that, going the right ways, but you don't have your mark in there. That just means you're 180 degrees out. So spinaroo around till it comes around again. But yeah, just check your mark, check your lobes, check your cam gear marks, and you are in time. So, oh, and then before you get to this point where we're at, where we're ready to start taking stuff off, I don't know if you need the light or not. It's kind of like looking weird in the
Fine.
in the thing. So
Is it time for the surprise?
yes, time for the surprise. So before you go taking all this stuff off, because we got to remove the cams to get to the head bolts underneath them, you want to pop your timing chain tensioner loose. And it's just a couple bolts, you know, 3 bolts, I guess. Take the spring out first, and then the 2 on the side of the timing chain, and look what we found.
A timing chain tensioner. That's stuck.
It is tight. We've tried to even bang and get it loose, but it just ain't coming. So the way this works, you got your little ratchet lever there, so it will allow, as the chain ever builds up slack, for that rod to push out on the chain guide and then lock it. That, you know, skips the, see the teeth there, that'll lock into the teeth to where it can't never come back unless you manually take it back. So this should be real easy just to push all the way out, but it's not. It's froze, it's cooked. So
We possibly saved a motor by pulling that out.
definitely possibly saved an engine right there. I was just talking to a guy today. His timing chain tensioner let go on his 1000 and took out
Well, that
everything.
was pretty common on the 1000.
So we got a timing chain tensioner coming for that, but we'll go ahead and get these off and in, and then just get to the point where all we got to do is pop that in and we're ready to tune. So
I'll get up here to higher ground.
So yeah, we're gonna start with these.
I call that the timing chain guide, is that right?
Yep. Alright, so pull that out.
I have zip ties ready to get the timing chain here in a minute. So you don't want it to fall down into the abyss.
So then we got that. Oh, before we go any farther, I gotta start something new here. Usually I don't do this, but I've talked to some people who do this. Do. And we're just gonna mark the chain and where that link goes on the gear. Hopefully we'll be able to see those, but that'll make it just so much easier when we pop the cams back in to find the right spot to put them on the chain, because I always wind up, you know, being one tooth off here or there and having to just perfect it before we put the tensioner back in.
Whoa, I forgot it was a neutral. Well, I'll stay off of it. I don't think Steven trusted me. And look who's back there watching.
So, okie dokie. Guess we'll take this off next. Seems like a good place to go. These are all 8mm in here. Just a little tight. Let's go ahead and loosen everything off because I don't want to get in there and pry anything. I do always take these off evenly. I don't know that it matters, but I guess it's not evenly, but just as evenly as we can. Wiggle those off. See that one moving? It's got little valve springage pressure on it.
Oh gosh, you could see all of it move.
Oh yeah, it's fine. So now that's now all this is loose. I'll pull this out.
And make sure you have a hold of the timing chain. Or someone.
Which on these engines, if it falls down in there, you can just throw a magnet down in there, but we prefer not to take any type of chances at all.
I've got the zip ties in my mouth.
Oh, that's why you was talking funny?
Yeah.
Which your timing chain cannot fall off of the crankshaft down there because it does have a guide around the bottom of it. So if you ever have to change your timing chain for some reason, then you got to split the cases.
And that sounds really fun.
Mm-hmm. So I can't remember what size those are. So anyway,
They look like a 14
you're gonna say
or 15.
14 or 15, make your mind up. I'll have to find a thin wall to get down in there. So anyway, those are the stocked 6 of them, head bolts, not studs. There is people that say you can torque those down to 85 foot-pounds, but it's not really what they're designed to do since these are torque to yield bolts, meaning you torque them down so tight and then the threads actually, everything stretches in there. So that might not be the best option. You're this far anyway. Let's just go ahead and pop them out and then put ARP studs in them. We're just gonna do one at a time. And it doesn't really matter where you start. There seems to be, you do the Polaris pattern, whatever, out to in to out, but you want me to put that in gear?
Am I moving the machine?
Yep.
Well, it's because I like to eat. I'll get off. I can get back on the.
You're fine. I'm just asking you because you're about falling off of it.
I'm not falling off. When have I fell off a razor and died?
Yeah, not died, but so we're just gonna remove, replace, remove, replace, remove, do. We do it all at once, and it's super simple. So I guess let's get to it.
Sure.
I'll find a 14.
It might be a 15. You know when you get oil all over stuff, it just. I'm going with 15. My gut says 15.
Are you sure?
No. Are you sure you're sure?
I went with your first guess of a 14.
Was I right the first time?
It appears you're correct.
I knew it. I should have just went with how I was really feeling. Maybe it's like objects appear bigger when covered with oil.
Sounds like it's out of there.
Do you want me to grab it, or you got it?
Good. Take a magnet, pull it straight out. So this is going.
That's what the old one looks like. And these are the new ones. And those are the top, right?
Yes, the top have a
That's
Allen
smaller
head in them.
and shorter thread. And then you have to lubricate these. It said to even lubricate the washers and the nuts, didn't it?
Yes. What's that? So we're gonna do that. Hold that. Actually, we'll just do this since we're only doing one, filming one.
Do we have to leave the bottom or no? Just the top.
There's stud right there. Barely get your fingers on it. We'll go ahead and get it started. A couple threads. My hands are all slick now. That feels like it's getting snug. We're just gonna double check it. You don't tighten these. Just get them down in there till they bottom out. I thought we were close to the bottom.
It was a trick.
There's the bottom. Yeah, be careful. You don't want to drop stuff down into the engine.
Remember, do one of these at a time. Up next is when Charlie Daniels gets involved, right?
Here pretty soon. So we're going to smear some grease on that. Hopefully this magnet isn't too big. I'm already seeing that it is.
I can probably get it on there with my fingers. Scary.
I need to find a smaller magnet.
We have one. Does it look like it's on the washer?
I don't know. Pull it out of there. We gotta find a smaller magnet. Gently pull it out of there. Yikes.
That wasn't gently, Stephen.
Hey, it was the bigger magnet's just a little too powerful. Hey, how do we get it off? So, time out while we find a smaller magnet.
You guys will never guess where the magnet was.
In her box.
No, it was not. It was in your scooter that you said you looked in for it.
Yeah, just use that to set it down in there. Take a screwdriver, push it down in there flush.
Make sure you put lube on the washer and lube on
Lube
the
on
nuts.
the washer, lube on the flange there. I stuck a little bit more in the threads there. Go along with what we got. So magnet again. Set it on in there. And hopefully we can get that started. I guess it helps if I go the right way.
I was gonna mention it, but then I thought maybe it's reverse thread.
No, caught enough threads just to hold that on there. Those are 1/2 inch 12 points. And hopefully that socket is not going to go in there. So I got that tight, finger tight down onto it. This is they say to go to 40 at first. I don't know why it matters, because we're going straight to 85 after that. So there's 40. And 85.
I wonder what Sammy Kershaw's doing. Would this make you Earl?
Probably. $85. So that's how we're going to do it. We'll do this one next, and then that one, that one, that one, that one. Get these all swapped out, torque down. Probably going to go down and just, just click them again. After we get them all tightened down, and then we will catch up with you. We're putting all this back together so we get it in right, and away we go.
It's on.
Huh?
It's on.
Okay. Let's show little Miss Attitude right there. Attitude. Miss Attitude there. Got some pink hair and some Miller Lite, and she thinks she's wee 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 wee.
When Steven goes missing, just know my throttle's stuck. Oops. I'm a terrible girl driver.
All right, for serious now. All right. Yeah.
Filming mishap.
Filming mishap with the GoPro. It happens. Anybody who messes with GoPros realize that sometimes you hit the button, it says you're recording, but then it doesn't save the file. So we didn't catch it till the end, but we'll walk you through it. Pretend all this junk isn't here. So we take the exhaust cam. Remember, just check you're still top dead center with the plus in the hole. Take the exhaust cam with the gear on it, set it down inside there, put that on. Take the intake cam, take the gear off of it, put that on, tighten it down. Then on the exhaust cam gear, where we made our mark on the chain, that was super easy. It lined right up, put that in time perfectly. So then, oh, we also installed that once we got the intake in, that PC there, without the chain guide on top. So then we had to get a wrench to turn that cam to get the lobes where they were pushing down on the valve springs. That allowed us to slide our plate in the ends of it to hold it. And so we came around to this side very carefully with the cam gear. We had the mark on the chain and the mark on the cam gear. We lined those up. It went right on perfectly. And then we just had to get the wrench back on that again and push forward a little bit to get that hold line up. Put one bolt in, tighten it down, and then we put the chain tensioner back in so we could rotate the engine. We rotated it around to where the second bolt we could get in the cam gear, tightened it up. I guess before we did all that, we torqued those down. Once you put these in, just go ahead and torque them down so you can still move them. So yeah, and then we just revolutionized the engine a few times just to double check timing, make sure we didn't hear any weird noises, and it's that simple. So we're putting the heat shields back on, getting all that together.
And maybe the valve cover first.
Yeah, we gotta put the valve cover on before we put the last heat shield on. Then we get the airbox in, get this buttoned up because we are gonna be ready to tune.
Should we tell them the excitement with Billy's tune? That it's in Japanese right now?
Yeah, his Power Vision info file that we need to tune it is in Chinese or Japanese or something, so we're doing some stuff on it. But we're going to probably not show all the details about the tuning. We'll save that for another video, but this isn't the end because we're going to come back once we get this all tuned up, do some draggy runs, see how much speed we gained, and go from there. Whether we have to adjust the clutching or not a little bit, we'll see. But we'll get back with you after we've got this tuned up.
I'm excited to see what the big turbo does.
Yeah.
Or bigger. It's not the big mo, but bigger turbo.
Little mo. So, yep, we will catch back up with you here in a minute. The camera's rolling.
Is it warmed up?
Nope. Sorry, we dropped the ball.
Starts good, Paul.
This is the test. See if he's happy with it. What'd you do, Steven? Move his steering wheel?
Sure, I'm gonna be happy.
Somebody that had the knees up in the dash has been driving it.
That's pretty wild how you don't fit this at all. You're not that much taller than me. Got this about the way. Let's go that way.
Billy's gonna get it up the temperature and then rip around on a little bit. See what we get his reaction about it for, because his machine, he's gonna know if there's a
That's true.
big seat in the pants feeling difference. Too bad we didn't have the obstacle course in the backyard.
Oh my
done
gosh,
yet.
I know. Uh-oh, he's itching.
We'll see what he thinks when he.
I know we're not talking much because we're like, here he goes. Nailor. Yeah. I love this squat. That semi was like, oh my God. Something just blew past me.
We didn't tell him where to turn around at.
Oh, you guys went that way before.
Oh yeah, he did ride with me, didn't he? Forgot about that.
Yeah. I hear him. He's turning around.
He's not in the ditch yet.
It's because he's not driving sprinkles. He'd be in the ditch quick. He had to go a little further. Listen to that rumbling in the valley.
And interesting fact that Amber pointed out, for every 1 mile of road,
There are 2 miles of ditches, so if you end up in one, it's fine. The odds are stacked against you to end up in the ditch. Well, hopefully there's no frowny face.
It sounds spicy. There's like very little.
We were afraid you would come back frowning.
Oh my God.
Like when you got on it right there in the driveway, there's like only that much of your front tires like touching the ground. It's like you could see under there.
Felt kind of bad. I pinned it at like 130 degrees, but
Nah, it's warm enough.
yeah, warm enough.
She's just running cooler because of the tune.
It could be. No, it feels really good. I don't think it's not as light. I thought it might be a little laggier because it's bigger, but
No.
it's not.
Yeah, that was one thing.
And the
Like,
clutching's like perfect. It was like 8,700.
We had to tweak on it.
Yeah, 86, 87. Like when it's shifted out. It'll just spin though for the first up to like 30, 40.
oh yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
It never did that before.
That's like what makes it hard. Like when we draggy time, like this setup compared to your stage 4.
Yeah.
You know, before like stage 4 had no. It might have scuffed the tires a little bit, but there was no spin.
No, it never did.
And then there's like spin with this one, so it's like the 0 to 30 times are always like really close. But
Yeah, it's not ideal either being with the welded cups on the road, but for 4-wheel drive stuff, like if you wanted to do that, but oh, fire me up.
Good.
good deal. That's what I was saying. It's like ain't nobody can actually know how much more power it feels like than you, because it's your rig, you know.
Yeah, 2,900 miles in this thing. It's been on stage 4 too for a while now, at least like 3 or 4 trips. So I kind of have an idea, because I just liked having that instant throttle response versus the stage 3. So if I got to pedal it in the middle of a big hill or something.
Yeah, that's like what Jazz says that he's reviewing the data. Is like, that's what he was impressed with the Bikeman turbo, was it had the throttle response of a stock turbo.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
just so much room for more power than like
I
even
almost
where
feel
you're
like
at.
it's better than the stock turbo. But it could have been too my clutching too, because my clutching was kind of wore out.
It was pretty screwed. You could feel it when I
definitely,
got in and moved
like,
it.
I don't know if you heard me, but I like stopped or slowly rolled, and then got back in it, and it just lit right back up like it wasn't nothing. And that's high, so.
Heck yeah. And yeah, we haven't talked about like So like when we got it all the fueling dialed in and everything, the first wide open throttle pull we got to do is like rev limiter instantly with the same weight setup. So it's throwing more power down through there. So we made a weight adjustment and got it where it was like 9,000. So had to make another weight adjustment and finally got the RPMs where we could really do some pulling on it and get it tweaked and tuned in. But yeah, stock fuel system, your 20 pounds of boost, charge temps look good and could probably run some more boost reliably. But I told you, like, we're gonna have to bump up the injectors at that point because the duty cycle was getting high on them where you're at now. But yeah, Jazz figuring you could run 22 pounds on this turbo setup with injectors and still not be pushing reliability on 100 octane. Yeah, which we got him a 93 octane tune too in there, so in case he ever needs that.
So how did he do that? Did he just kind of go through
Just all that rocket
Whatever
science stuff
black
that he
magic
knows?
he does.
black magic in the computer?
He sends us messages and we're like, yeah, whatever that means.
Oh yeah, he can super nerd out on all of this
What
stuff.
weird word did he use the other day? We were like,
Lambda.
lambda.
I've actually heard that word before.
He was messing with your lambda, so
Yeah, perfect.
yeah.
It feels great.
If you're
And the throttle isn't too touchy still. Like, it still kind of feels like the same. Like, you can cruise still, and it's not just womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, it's usable. It's not
Yeah,
just
it's
toggle throttle.
right. Oh, I'm hyped. I just need to get it out on the trail. Get her in the low.
Oh yeah.
I'll be running high forever now. For everything. Even on the 32s. Just fried those off.
Yeah.
They're already not doing well.
Along with the normal abuse Billy gives the
Yeah,
tires
those are not. These things were brand new this year.
compared to the fronts. So.
now you get a little more power to peel it off quicker.
Yeah, right. That's just what I need.
Yeah, I think numbers wise, like 0 to 30 was about the same, but we just had so much tire spin on takeoff. But then, so keep in mind we're spinning tires, similar tires, time 0 to 30, but like the next time we look at,
0 to 60.
because we spin so much tires is like 15 to 50, and that was 4/10 faster than your previous setup, and then 0 to 60 was 6/10 faster. So she just kept getting faster and faster, and you can feel that like when you drive it, it just does not let off. It's just
I was
like
doing 80. I think that's the fastest I've gone in a long time in this. I never really run the road though, I guess. No, it's even the 0 to 30 though feels way faster, even though it's spinning. You can just tell it's just making more power. It just sounds angry too. Like it sounds.
It does
it
sound
sounds
different.
healthy.
yeah. Well, that's like she said, whenever I did the not the final run, because we tried one more version of it to try to just push a little bit more, but we actually lost some speed on it, so we went back to whatever version.
8 point something.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we ran it up and down the road. Neighbors probably hate us, but but on that run with the tune you got in it now, I came in and she's like,
I was standing up here.
she's like, I could have swore I saw daylight underneath your front tires.
The weight shift.
I feel like it would do
looked like
wheelies.
But like
Bring
right
it
there,
started
you know,
to pull.
you pulled the front end up and you got loose, you got
Yeah.
real light in your steering up there. So
Yeah, that's impressive. I don't even know what to say. I knew it was gonna be different, but I didn't think it'd be like, you know, not without having big injectors and all that with it too, or like E85, because that's what most people go to.
well, it's like, I think Jazz, just being from automotive background, just
Yeah.
has
Looks at it.
some
differently.
looks at it differently, has some different tricks
Right.
up his sleeve, because I mean effortlessly he's been faster as far as like the draggy times than every tune out there.
Yeah, right.
that's designed for performance, on clutching that's designed for performance, like as ours is not. It's like low end belt grip is what we want.
Your clutching isn't even made to go
And
fast in a straight line.
Yeah, and it still runs faster than it's crazy.
Well, it's just the right combo too. Like, I mean, I've ridden in a lot of other razors with STMs, the 85, you know, big turbos, everything. But if you don't have your clutching dialed with your big turbo and E85, it's a turd.
Yeah.
Which most of them have been like that. And I'm like, man, my full body on 93 runs harder than a lot of people's shit just with the clutching before.
I don't think you realize just how much power is just getting left behind.
Right.
In the clutching.
Exactly. I mean, that's why my razor was here. Because
And that's why we got a hold of Jazz.
The clutching
a long time
gurus,
ago.
yeah, and now the tuning gurus too.
That ain't
That's
us,
not
because
us.
we don't know jack about that at all.
It's the combo though.
Yeah,
We
hey,
joked we could make it look good that we'd get on a dyno and I'd sit there with a computer, you know, in a lab coat, just but all I'm doing is just emailing files
Yeah,
to Jazz.
to Jazz.
And I'm not actually tuning.
yeah, and he's looking at what the engine is telling him it's doing,
Right.
rather than a dyno and watching that horsepower, you know, just watching that line, trying to do stuff to manipulate the line. He's actually like, oh, the engine wants more fuel.
Yeah.
That's like he was saying, it's like, no, he's like, this turbo it wants fuel, it wants fed.
I'm gonna
He's,
message Jazz and be like,
Might have to.
tell Steven when he emails my file that Sprinkle's engine wants the big turbo. That's all there is
Do
to
the big
it.
injectors too. Then.
That's all. That's what it said.
yeah, he looks at all the data and sees what the data is telling him that it wants, and not just a computer screen
Right.
trying to make more horsepower. So that's where the reliability of it comes in, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, can't get much better than real world tuning, especially like out on the road too, like real world tuning.
yeah, I think there's a difference between if you set that on a roller, on a
Right.
dyno, trying to get results
I would
versus
agree.
on ground that ain't moving. You're actually propelling yourself in your rig rather than spinning a
Yeah,
wheel.
moving the weight.
I mean, it's time consuming, but I'm happy we've been doing the custom tunes, like just being able to see what all they can do.
But yeah, thanks for Billy for trusting us to work on his baby girl there.
Yep, first people to ever work on it besides me.
So
That shows trust there.
That does.
so yeah, they've got a ride planned up. We got him done just in time, but be sure to check him out because we're gonna be watching to see the new power and see what it does.
Yeah, I'm excited. Ready for it.
I guess we'll see you on the next video, and maybe Sprinkles will have taken a bath.
Probably not.
Yeah, you should watch that.
She needs to give herself.
She was
a
saying
bath.
before you got here, she's like, I should go out and watch that before he comes and pick up his razor because I'm gonna get in trouble again.
Even mine's clean.
Well, I always wash mine as soon as we unload it the next day, and this time we had so much other stuff, and I was like, but one thing, Steven is always like, what are you doing? Whenever we get a machine that's got mud on it, I pick. I'm a picker, and I'll pick all the mud off everything. So I saw mud on Sprinkles, and I was picking at it. My bum stop was broke. And
Yeah,
then it was
I actually did see that. I
broke
seen it
on-
in the shop.
Yeah, it broke on both sides. She broke her whisker biscuit. So my picking does pay off.
I don't know if it pays off because it just costs off to all those getting sent down to Tim Iced probably. So
Hey, that's their money. That's what do you expect?
yep.
A broke whisker biscuit leads into that.
Yeah, leads into $2,000 shocks.
She's the one that broke herself.
Yeah. So
Well, some-
yeah, keep an eye open for Billy. He's riding with Broke Boys next, and see what they get into and
Usually
Follow.
something.
follow along how the performance, and because like it's different here, so I'm curious to see like on the trails
Yeah.
when you pin it up a hill to be like
Yeah, probably flip
that
down.
reaction.
Yeah, I'll probably flip down it. It'll be great.
So heck yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.